Hi, good morning.
What was the whoa
I've
for?
got some flyaways. They're just taking their own
Oh,
path
I
today.
didn't know I had to look at you beforehand to make sure nothing was going
I
crazy
know.
over here. Well, good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
We hope you all are having a lovely Wednesday.
Yes, you are halfway through.
We don't have a ton of sales for a Wednesday to go out, but we'll talk about those.
Yeah.
We did have a couple decent ones that helped make the day, fruitful,
Right.
so to speak. And then we're also going to discuss our numbers for the quarterly. They are in.
They are in. We did
and
it.
we will talk about what that looks like
Time
for
to
us.
pay taxes.
And
Yay!
yeah, all those good things. So, with that being said, this is Aaron.
I'm Amber.
Joined with Amber, and we are full-time resellers. We go live Monday through Thursday.
Yes.
And without further ado, let's jump into the numbers. So, overall, if you want to get down to the nitty-gritty as far as the total bottom number, about $1,700 more this year,
right,
in total sales versus or total gross profit,
right,
versus last year.
Yes.
Now there are quite a bit of differences. So obviously I was still full time almost the entirety of the first quarter last year. Mm-hmm. So this was us doing it part time. Granted,
part time.
Yeah.
Which was actually full time.
It felt like it was full time. But some of the big differences that kind of, I think, held us back from not making more this quarter as opposed to previous. Any thoughts?
No.
No? Did you look at the numbers? No? So, okay. Returns were far higher this year than it was last year.
Just for quarter one.
So to give you an idea, we had over $1,600 in returns this year for the first quarter versus last year we had $75.
That's gross.
Yeah.
Real gross.
So that hurts a lot. So obviously that we might have made more issues and mistakes this time around than we did last time.
Why? What should be getting better?
But I also think there's more. What?
You're looking at my lip.
What lip? What?
You're just staring at me. Stop.
Okay. So the only thing I could see is different is malicious buyers. So I do think there are.
So it's not us. It's our customers.
Not always. I think there are some situations. So
I mean, the economy's worse off too.
Yeah, I think that's part of it. Yeah. So the worse economy, people are looking for any and every way to get stuff back, and so they would be more motivated. So if you are struggling financially, and you buy something and it isn't exactly the way you wanted it, then you are more likely more prone to actually follow through with returns.
Yeah.
So that's going to play a huge aspect of that. Now our cost of goods went down quite a bit, so we were spending less money, which makes sense. I don't think well, let me put it this way. I don't think we need to spend more money.
No.
I don't think we need. I think we're spending a decent amount. So this year, this first quarter, we spent about $5,000 on cost of goods.
Yeah.
And that also includes some bigger buys where we bought the iRobot vacuums.
Right.
And so that's over 10% of our entire budget went into robot vacuums.
Mm-hmm. And they all sold.
They all sold, so it all worked out. But
last year it was what, 66?
Yeah, about $6,700 that we spent
for cost of goods. Shipping.
So listing fees and platform fees. So this would be promoted listings. Mm-hmm. So our promoted listings cost us an extra $600, $550, $600 this quarter. So those kind of
add up fast.
They can add up. Shipping fees almost exactly the same. So we're shipping about the same amount of stuff that we did. I will say the one big saving grace of the fact that we're not making quite as much. I would expect to make more than this as far as a difference, because we were still doing this technically part-time versus full-time. I don't think we had any really large big sales. No,
sales, yeah, okay.
The biggest one that comes to mind for me is that VHS player that we sold. And so that was a really good sale, but I feel like the last Q1, I think that's when we sold the Rock Band guitar Hero set.
Better.
That was $600.
Yeah.
And then there was something else that we sold that was big, but I can't think of it. But I think some of the bigger items are not moving as quickly as they did
Right.
this year as opposed to last year.
Yeah, and we see that daily. Like we see how, like we're selling a lot of less than $20 items.
Yeah.
Versus last year, I feel like it was not that way.
We could cut back a little bit on food.
Barely.
Yeah.
I think we're fine there.
I'm sure you do. And we did have to pay out of pocket for a hotel.
Right.
Like that was another when we're talking about the back end expenses, that was another unexpected expense that we didn't really plan on it, but it was because the hotel was just so gross. There was no way I was going to get her to stay there. So I basically think that makes
it makes sense.
It makes sense. I mean,
our returns hurt so bad.
They hurt, you
A
know,
lot.
because if you think about it,
That's a lot of money.
If we just lessen that by $1,000,
yeah,
you know, that's going to come to our bottom line.
Right.
And then we're sitting at $2,700.
And it's not looking good already for Q2.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Had some things come up that.
Well, that'll be another video on
Okay.
another day.
To be shown later.
We were warned, and here we are. But
Yeah.
I think it's good that we're getting the lesson early as opposed to later, so
Makes
that
me
we can
sick.
make some adjustments.
I feel sick.
I think it's important that we need to make adjustments. But yeah, so we have 5 items that need to go out today.
This is the good and bad of the business. It's not always going to be like, oh, they did great.
Yeah.
Like, we're learning lessons along the way, and we will share them with you.
So we did have a couple items that sold later yesterday because
Right.
you shipped later.
Yes.
That we did ship yesterday, and so just to highlight those, a Mary Kay eye palette,
It was cheeks.
cheeks palette. Oh, they're all the same to me.
Cheek
$18.99 plus shipping on that, and it was just one little thing. So that was kind of cool. And then we sold Guardians of the Galaxy 3D Blu-ray for $9.95 plus shipping. So nice little sale there, and so we'll jump into
The
rest. So we had a lot of interest in this guy for some reason. Just people would buy it and then not pay.
Yeah, that's weird.
So, but this one they paid. So this is a Godzilla figure from 2006. I don't know. He just stood out to me as something I needed to look up because he's like more of like the old school hard plastic. And those are more desirable. So $16.99 plus shipping on that. So probably paid like $1 or $2 for that. Next up, we have a Blu-ray Hatfield and McCoy's. Went on the bottom dollar of what I'm willing to sell Blu-rays for. $5.75 plus shipping. Next up, I had this for a while. Had some interest, but nobody was willing to finally pull the trigger. This is a Telco motion-activated sensor with external siren. So I just want. Oh, I mean, how loud would this thing be?
I don't think it. I think it says extra loud exterior siren sounds when intruder is detected inside. So very loud.
Yeah. So pretty interesting.
Yeah. Without having to pay a company to monitor it.
Yeah, I think that's the big thing because I'm so over the subscription fees.
I know.
Everybody wants to just provide a service instead of a product.
Yeah.
I'd prefer a product.
Right.
And I don't need your service. This is the sale that has basically made
Saved
the
our
day.
day.
Saved the day. And of course, anytime you list these are going to sell super quick.
Yeah.
As long as you price it right.
It has to be sealed and original.
Yeah.
You don't want to sell those knockoff toners.
And you can easily
They're not
tell
worth
it's original when you get these nice little like high tech
hologram
stickers to protect it.
Yeah.
Obviously it has some wear to the
Yeah.
things, but you just make sure you picture it well.
Yeah.
And for some reason this thing is like shaking.
I think that's just because it doesn't have like the foam keeping it in place.
Yeah, maybe.
So it in the bag is shifting.
Yeah.
That's what it sounds like.
So I just made sure I notated that in the notes too.
Okay.
That it was shaking inside. And again, I listed this yesterday, already sold $138 plus shipping. How much we pay for this? $9.
Yeah.
So
great.
Fantastic sale on that. I need
There's
some
the
more.
Other side. Nothing.
I need
It's
some
open.
more LaserJet toner cartridges.
The originals. I always look at these too because toner doesn't expire. So you really
very much different
you
than the
want to
ink.
look at the toner.
And we've sold ink, like just the actual ink, And then sometimes you'll get people that'll be like, it's dried out.
Right, but we list it that way. We tell them it's expired. It's kind of like take a risk or not.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I don't know. We can't open it and test it and let you know.
And last sale of the day is ATA boxing, or I wouldn't say these are boxing, but
They look like sparring
child
or whatever.
large size sparring
Gloves.
mitts or gloves. $20 plus shipping for these.
Yep.
I think these are the first of the ATA buy that we just
That
recently
really
picked
big
up.
bag.
And we paid $25 for
These
the
look
entire
nice.
thing. So these almost all
Got our money back.
cover
Yeah.
our money initial investment, and there's
Yeah.
a lot more of it to
Right.
go, which I'm surprised none of it else
I know.
is really sold.
I wonder
so.
if it's like time of year. Maybe it's more of a fall thing to get into.
Maybe it is. The other thing is, I'm wondering if it's starting to get to be a little bit more of a saturated market, where
Yeah.
people are starting to know that this stuff
Yeah.
sells.
Yeah.
And
Or maybe even like there's just more of it out there. People that are getting out of it are selling it at garage sales or whatever
Yeah.
to recoup some of their money.
that's very possible.
All theories, which we love doing.
So that's pretty much it for our
Yeah.
sales.
So would we change anything for Q1 or Q2? What are you thinking? Based
I mean,
on our
I
numbers.
think you have to.
We may be making sandwiches more often
Yeah.
on our garage sale. Not that that's like what changed.
I
things.
think the
It's
one thing
areas
that we could
to
do
improve.
is focus on maybe just eating out once a week on our trips. So if we make 2 trips, you have to pick which one of those 2 days that you want to eat out on.
Okay. But I mean, even like we're still frugal. Like most of the times, if we're thrifting on a Friday, we end up at Costco, and we get a $10 pizza to share with everybody. So it's not like we're like fine dining anywhere.
Yeah.
And we get like platters to share, so it's usually like reasonable, but it still adds up.
Yeah, it adds up, and I would say in terms of, I like to think on the sourcing side, I think we have to do a much better job on the quality control.
Being more thorough.
Yeah, quality control.
Because really, the returns are what hurt us.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to really, that's where we need to focus.
Yeah, and I guess that can kind of lead us to, like, so we have a couple issues with a couple returns. One, both came from the bargain hunt.
Which we are so excited about.
Yeah, we're excited about the bargain hunt being here. We like the bargain hunt. But at the same time, these are returned items.
Which someone had warned us in a comment, and we did pay attention to that because it helped us prevent some of the buys we were looking at after that comment was left. But these were things we bought before the comment was left.
Yeah.
And when we shipped them out, like one was the chicken coop door.
Yeah, it was missing
We
a
thought
remote.
it was new, but it was missing a piece.
Missing a remote. So if the remote was in it, we'd be fine.
Right.
But again, like, these are things that if you don't have the item and know the item.
Right. It was something we never owned. We never sourced before.
And I will say, so I'm going to defend myself a little bit because obviously you go through the process of trying to see, okay, do I have everything there?
Right.
All the other ones that I saw online, they just had a picture of the box. Front, back,
Yeah.
done.
Which is what you did.
Well, I mean, I actually opened it up and I showed what was in it. So, like, it at no point showed the remote, but I
Right.
still feel at fault because
yeah.
I was selling it under the guise that it was going
new,
to have the
had
remote.
Complete, yeah.
And so I asked the buyer if they could find a way to get a replacement remote, and then we'll pay for the replacement remote.
Right.
If not, then I'm just going to end up refunding the person in full.
Yeah.
And
Don't send it back or what.
don't send it back because what good was it? It doesn't do us any
Then we
good.
pay shipping again.
Yeah.
So.
So then, if that's the case, the person goes and buys another one,
Yeah.
and now he has 2 rolling doors, and maybe the remote will work for both at the same time, and he's just
Maybe.
rolling the double doors.
That'd be
with
like the mansion of chicken coops.
But
Then what was the other one?
the other one was a little speaker.
Oh yeah, the JBL. We showed it to you, like the little speaker.
Yeah, and apparently the back is a little bit scraped or something.
It was used,
Yeah, it was used,
and we didn't know that.
no.
So we were not very thorough on that one.
Well, so again, like this was from the first buy that we went,
Right.
and these things were listed right away.
Mm-hmm.
And it's one of those things to where once you list it, you kind of forget it, and you don't
Right.
want to go back to like.
Maybe we
redo-
need to go back and see the other bargain hunt listings
I
and
can't
double check. Because
remember.
actually, now that I'm thinking of it, my espresso machine that I bought for personal use didn't have the glass cup that was supposed to come with it.
Mhm.
which makes sense. Like if they're returns, there was something either wrong with it or missing from it,
It could have been that
or they broke it
yeah.
and returned only part of the machine.
Mm-hmm.
The machine works great. It's my coffee every day, so I'm not complaining. But if I were to have sold that, someone probably would have wanted the cup.
Yeah. Well, you would have bought it with the idea that the cup was in it.
Right.
Like that's.
So now we're going in with new eyes.
So I think there's two aspects with that. So I think one, you're obviously going to be more thorough when researching and digging into these particular items. But I think number two, the other aspect of this, is I think we're going to have to raise our threshold of what we would want to get in a return. So I don't want to pick up items to sell for $30 and pay $7.
Right, yeah.
Because I think there's a higher increased risk of an issue with it. So I want to raise that up to like 40 to 50.
Yeah.
So for example, the little speaker we sold for $30, like that would have not hit the threshold. We would have not picked it up. We would have just left it. And it's one of those things to where we have enough items in inventory.
Yeah.
You know, I think we'd be a little bit pickier. And they actually have some really good items in those.
I think I'd be even more cautious when listing those, that I wouldn't even list them as complete. Like, what is pictured is what you're getting.
I would say, but like, okay, for the chicken coop.
Yeah.
I was not able to even identify that there was a remote or not.
Yeah.
Like, obviously there is going to be a remote, but how do I know? I don't know if it could be an app.
I don't know.
On your phone.
Know. I think it's gonna make us pause on expanding our what things we pick to buy. Like if we have no knowledge of it, I would be almost be afraid to do
if
that.
we go back to when we went to the last time we went to the bargain hunt, right? And you think of all the items that we bought.
Yeah.
There's only two that come to mind.
Yeah.
That under our threshold we would have bought, which would have been the guitar headphones amp, because that thing is going to sell for over $250.
Now I'm nervous.
And then the other thing was the Nintendo.
And we can't test the headphones.
Well, we can't, but you know, I looked at powered on. I can't. That's all I can do.
Maybe can you put in there untested?
Not doing it.
Power tested. We don't know. I don't like it. I don't like it. See, this is where he will like. He's a risk taker, and I'm like,
I think within reason, I will take risk. But you know, when it powers on, I'm just gonna assume at that point it works. And I did list it as used as opposed to new or open box.
Okay.
So I did list it as new.
Okay.
I mean used. So I do think that is trying to accurately describe the description. It powers on. I'm not able to fully test it, but at this point, I would assume that it's gonna work.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. So we're gonna work on returns.
Yeah.
Avoid them. And be more thorough.
And I will say too, one of the things that can help us on this too is when you pull the item, to always be sure to inspect them before we move forward. So like, you know, a perfect example is if we didn't list let's say the toner, and then we hear it bouncing around in there, like you would want to highlight that to the person that's buying it. Just so
sometimes we reach back out to the customers and we're like, hey, we just noticed this. It was in the picture, but are you sure you still want it?
Yeah, like the boots, for example. Remember the boots that we had?
Yeah.
And there was this like, it was pictured,
right?
But it wasn't like highlighted or mentioned in the comments or anything like that. And we're like, hey, we just want to make sure you're going to love these boots.
Yeah.
Do you still want them? Here's a more close-up picture of the issue. They said no. And we ended up just discarding the boots.
And that just avoids like the whole return issue.
Correct. Well, I mean, think about it.
That would have counted as a return though.
Yeah.
On our spreadsheet, because it looks like we sold that and then it's taken back. So even some of these numbers were not all things we shipped.
Yeah, correct.
So I don't think we thought about that.
Yeah. Or what about like canceled orders would be there?
Canceled orders,
if somebody buys them and then it doesn't go through.
It shows as a return.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because that's...
So this number may be more inflated than we originally just thought.
Yeah.
Talking through.
That's why you talk these things through.
See? Yes.
But I still think, you know, obviously you want to...
We still have had a lot of returns.
Yeah.
So.
More than normal.
Yeah.
So definitely got to get that under wraps. But
so there we go. So then hopefully our Q2 update is going to be way better.
Yes. But and I also say too that with the Q2 update compared to this, I think it'll be a better actual comparison because it will be us being full time in both cases.
Quarters.
As
last
opposed
year
to,
and this
this year.
Yeah.
So I think these are going to be more helpful and beneficial as we move forward.
Yeah.
And we get more time to we're refining our store and things continue to change. I don't know when the economy is going to turn. I'm not optimistic that it's going to happen quickly.
What, that it's going to be a positive turn?
Yeah, I don't think so.
I thought you were still talking about when's it going to crash. I'm like,
no.
How much more?
I mean, I think we could very well find out that we're already in a recession, but this might come out 3 months from now.
I just feel like I don't need to wait until somebody tells us
No,
we're in a recession.
it doesn't.
Like, it's just happening.
Yeah, it is happening.
Everybody's
You're living it.
Yes.
Yeah.
We're all in this, and we don't need you to spell it out and title it. Like, we're good. We know. Yeah, just because you didn't call it that doesn't mean it's actually not happening.
So what is your plan for the day?
I am listing the clothes. It is a must. I am shipping and listing, and then I'll do the rest. But yesterday, cleaned the downstairs. Looked great. So it'll be shipping, listing my clothes, cleaning upstairs. My day.
In that order, because you will find a way to shimmy that clean up to the front of everything. She wants to always put cleaning ahead of everything else.
Because he can deal in chaos, and I can't. Like, I'm not cooking unless my kitchen's clean. I'm not listing unless my area is clean.
And I like mama cooking. Cooking mama.
I need a cleaning Aaron.
Negative. So then for me, I have a meeting with somebody with Empower. So they do like investing and stuff.
Not expecting much of it, but...
No. But if anything, it just puts a damper in the middle of my day.
So there it goes, your schedule.
Yeah.
Off the tracks already.
No.
Anyways, you're going to list, but there's not much to list.
I think there is still a lot of lists. There was stuff that you found yesterday that I didn't know was downstairs. So.
See what cleaning does?
But I will say, I might do some sourcing while you're packing. I've thought about maybe just running over to some thrift stores while you're...
Okay.
Although this is so short.
It'll be done so fast.
Yeah, never mind.
You can take it with you.
But, all right.
All right, so, break.
Yeah. All right, well, everybody, take care. Hope you have a good one.
Have a good Wednesday, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Yep. See you tomorrow. Take care.